Hello YouTube, back again with another video. Today's video is going to be about astral projection, binaural beats, drugs, DMT, marijuana. Pretty much going to cover a couple of things in this video. Well, I definitely want to say this. Astral projection is what some people say is an out-of-body experience. You know, anything that you experience outside of your normal bodily experience, that your bodily experience. For me, I don't see astral projection as a person leaving their body. I would say it's more of like a mental experience, because everything you're actually seeing practically is in your head. You're seeing everything as a dream. When you dream, basically everything is in your head that you're seeing going on. But I mean, if you want to say it's in a spirit realm, you can say that. But when you close your eyes, on an astral level, you are seeing it with your mind's eye. To say you're in a different realm, you can say that as well. To say if it's an experience that's going on in your head, you can say that as well. Now, astral projection is something that you have to be very good at meditation, because part of astral projection is learning how to control your mind. So when you start talking about, well, the astral realm in voodoo is called Guinea. But let's throw it like that. Let me explain that before I even go any further. For those that say, well, Kisha really astral voodoo. So basically it'll be considered as Guinea whatsoever. Breakdown of Guinea, basically Africans felt that they were never going to go back to their home country, so they labeled the spirit realm Guinea. So therefore when they die, their souls will retreat back to their home, which is the home of humanity whatsoever. So that's where the breakdown of where Guinea is, which is basically Guinea of Africa, West Africa today whatsoever. So, getting to the astral experience now. Now, the thing is, where you go on the astral plane, that depends on the frequency you're vibrating on. Basically, if you're trying to go to the higher planes, your frequency has to be higher. If you want to go to the lower planes, your frequency has to be lower. Where you go on the astral plane is pretty much dependent on your frequency. So therefore, if you're using substances like DMT, whatever it is, ayahuasca, whatever, all these things, they have vibrational rates itself, like let's just say DMT itself. That drug, I would say, its vibration is basically a low vibration. It takes you to what you would call the lower astral plane, Basically, yes, it does. It brings you down to the lower astral plane. Basically, it's like a low vibration, So even when basically, even after the experience, you still have a glimpse, like things may start appearing to you even after the experience itself, when you're walking in daylight, you may see things like, let's just say after that experience, you may see after a couple of hours you're walking down the street and you may look into your car and you think you see someone there and they're not actually there. No one's actually there. Basically because your spirit has residues of that vibration. So therefore, when you're talking about DMTs, even with whether it's marijuana and stuff like that, these things open you up to the other side. And it's almost like opening the doors of perception, So again, when you're talking about astral projection, even with the DMT experience, to get a good breakthrough with DMT, you have to be very spiritual, Meaning, I say this, you have to have discipline in regards to yoga. When you're talking about trying to get experience, see, there's people that, like marijuana. Marijuana can be used for good revelation, for philosophical conversations where you're trying to perceive great spiritual concepts, But if you're just smoking marijuana just for like a little high and a little buzz and stuff like that, nah, man, you're not going to get anything from it. When you have a controlled mind, especially when you're talking about closing your eyes, whether it's DMT, whether it's shrooms, most of these experiences should be with your eyes closed. They should be with your eyes closed, because that way you can perceive. Don't try to interact with what you're seeing. And this is the problem that I say with a lot of people that talk about astral projection. When you start trying to interact with what you're perceiving, this is when you start to basically lose. I'd say this. When you start trying to interact, that's when you basically destroy your experience. You should be an observer in all your experiences. So let's just say you take your DMT experience. Now you start seeing, you know, as you start closing your eyes, you start seeing lights. You start seeing different things. Now, excuse me. Now, the light, you see these lights. Now this portal opens up. Now you feel like you're falling. Now you're falling. Now you wake up in a world. Now if you in some type of spiritual realm. The key is you're supposed to be an observer. Yeah, you may see on the lower astral plane black shadows rolling around, you know, causing mayhem. You may see people wandering around lost whatsoever. The key is allowing yourself, let's just say this. The key is observing, not becoming part of the experience. You want to learn. When you're down there, don't try to be like, oh, I'm going to talk to this person. I'd say this. You're not there to, like, let's just say, alter anything. Try to mess around with stuff, because that way you don't know. Your mind can be altering stuff and then you alter the whole experience. You want to be an observer. Observe everything. You have to forget what you read in books about, oh, well, I should project here, and then you start talking to higher beings. No, you watch and observe. You do not become part of your experience. You watch it as an observer, you know? Now, from the DMT thing, what I know spiritually is that, hey, that's a low vibration, you know? Therefore, your experience afterwards, you may feel like, I definitely say this, your experience, you may feel, see, if you're not psychic, it may be going on, you don't even perceive what's going on, but you'll feel this sense of fear whatsoever, because that thing brings your vibration down to like the lower astral plane level. So you have that lower astral consciousness, which allows you to perceive things of the lower astral in a polyvision sense, where in between this realm, you can perceive things outside of this realm, you know? So you walk around with this fear that you don't understand. You know, see, if you're sensitive, you understand what I'm talking about. But if you're just the average Joe Schmo, things may be going on around you and you don't even perceive that. So, where you go with DMT, whatever, whether it's marijuana, if you're using that, whether it's shrooms, ayahuasca, all depends on your vibration. If you're at a low vibration, you're going to gravitate also. Yeah, we already know, like I said, DMT is like a low vibration, you know? So if you use that, you're going to vibrate, and if your vibration is already low, you're definitely going to end up in the astral, you know, on the lower astral. Now, basically, if your vibration is high, you'll probably end up in some of the higher planes itself, you know. But just saying from experience, DMT, its vibration is low. It's a low vibration, you know. Definitely would say this after DMT experience. Matter of fact, hold on. I'll definitely say this. I'm going to move into another video and I'm going to say what I'm going to say afterwards whatsoever, because definitely I definitely want this to tie into binaural beats, especially drug-induced binaural beats. Let me say this. The only difference between binaural beats and the official drugs is that you don't have the physical symptoms, you know? See, and there may be lighter things, like I definitely say with the minor hallucinations in the environment, but the closed eye experience is pretty much the same. You know, as a person who has experience with both, I would definitely say this, the experiences is just the same. When you close your eyes, just as though if you would have done smoked pot or whatever, you know, whatever you use, if you were to close your eyes, the same type of experience that you would have with closing your eyes if you use the binaural beats. They're very effective. You know, some people may throw them out, but I definitely say if you're not trying to go through like having bad stuff in your, like bad chemicals, components in your bloodstream, if you're looking for work whatsoever, then I definitely recommend binaural beats, the drug-induced binaural beats. But I gotta say this, with getting close to the conclusion of this video, is this: whether it's binaural beats, whether it's drugs, you got to cleanse your bloodstream. You got to cleanse your bloodstream. You know, the thing is this: when you're using these things to lower your vibration or raise your vibration, when you're using this stuff to lower your vibration, to have like these to travel to the lower astral plane, you got to cleanse your bloodstream. Well, like, let's just say if you do the official drugs, you got to cleanse your bloodstream, because that stuff stays in your bloodstream and it stays with your consciousness. So now you start bugging out, you know, like, especially if you're talking about using shrooms, whatever, you know, this stuff affects your consciousness, you know, like affects your consciousness where you may have the experience. It's same thing with binaural beats. If you're using one for shrooms, you may be driving in a vehicle and now you figure, oh, well, if I jump outside my vehicle while I'm running 70 miles per hour on a highway, nothing will happen to me. So therefore, your consciousness is affected in a sense where you get this twisted sense of understanding where you can be in your car and if you jump out, you can, you know, nothing will happen to you. But if you do physically, you'll die. You know? So the thing is, I say this, a person has to understand that these drugs and binaural beats affect your consciousness. So if it's drugs that you're doing for experience, clean out your bloodstream, because not only is it good for you, you know, spiritually, it's also good for you financially. Because if you're trying to do a blood test, they're definitely going to find it in your bloodstream. You know? So let's just say, so I say this on a binaural beats level now. If you're using stuff like that to basically lower your vibration, to basically travel in the lower astral plane, you definitely have to basically use binaural beats to cleanse your aura. So there's binaural beats for drug-induced, drug-induced travels, and there's binaural beats to basically to have higher, to basically cleanse your aura, cleanse your chakras. You know, basically it's an electronic thing. They all do the same thing. Where at the end of the day, only thing the difference between the drugs and the basically drug-induced binaural beats is that you don't have the physical symptoms whatsoever. You know, as like I say, physical signs of, you know, the drugs use whatsoever. You know, so I definitely say this. You know, or in regards to drugs, you know, the drug experience. I mean, I put like this. Some may look at it as good, some may look at it as bad. You know, it all depends on what you use it for, and anything in this world can be used for bad if it's abused whatsoever. If you're constantly doing this stuff, again, marijuana, you know, if you're smoking too much marijuana, you forget things. You know, that's the backlash of it, you know. Same thing with, you know, whatever shrooms you like, whether it's shrooms, whatever. You know, there's always going to be a backlash if you're constantly doing this stuff, you know. If you're constantly banging this stuff like almost every single day, your mind's going to be eroded, man. You know, it's not good for you. You know, you can't be doing this stuff all the time. Maybe once a month, once every, like, you know, 3 months. You know, you can't be doing this stuff all the time because, hey, you know, that's abuse and that's not good for you. So other than that, I hope this video was very informative. I am out. This is the last video for tonight. Like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.